Okay, here's another modern matchup. Again, we're playing Kiki-Pod here. Star Opener, which is just a little bit slow. We kind of can't really rely on drawing creatures. I suppose with a few more creatures this would be amazing, but sadly not. Oh, we're actually going to keep it? Okay, so we actually took... I didn't think we would keep this hand. I think we would have mulliganed it. So we did take a risk on this hand. I'm not sure how well it's going to go. And our opponent appears to be Living End, which makes things probably a little bit worse, because we really need to be doing something. You managed to find turn 2 Wall of Roots, which is nice. That does help out, so maybe an argument for keeping. One plays a Fulminate Image and blows up our steam vents, which is pretty annoying. And we're just going to be able to run out that birthing pod here. The opponent is getting a kind of critical mass of creatures, and yeah, there's the outburst into the Living End, and we're just dead really. He's going to blow up our last land, put us down to 1 land, and we're going to be taking a lot of damage next turn. We'll be dead in a couple of swings, if not more, if not just one, if he's got another way to make his guys a little bit bigger. So yeah, turn 4 loss. After a sketchy keep. Probably shouldn't have kept the hand, though I think it's going to be a difficult game, game 1 against, unless you can throw some early creatures into the yard or get some persist guys out. So move on to game 2. Out the sideboard we can get our Ethersworn Canonists out, and potentially some other things. Can't quite remember my sideboard plan for this match. So this hand's decent, not amazing, but we're going to have a Kitchen Finks, which is pretty nice, and birthing pod as well. So we potentially combo if we're given enough time. One just cycles 1 creature. I'm going to play our Finks. One cycles again. Put a couple of guys into his yard. Appears to have the turn 3 cascade spell. I'm just going to play out a Kitchen Finks. Could play out Pod actually, but I figured the more creatures I had to pod away post Living End, the better. So here comes the Demonic Dread and the Living End, which I'm going to get our persist guys back. Go up all the way to 27, which is pretty good. Bit confused about what to do here, but I think I end up playing out with Restoration Angel. Actually in response to his Jund Charm, which is not something we particularly wanted to see. But yeah, if we get a land next turn, we can win with Kiki-Jiki. So it doesn't even matter if we have a pod actually, so that's one of the reasons to go for the Restoration Angel play here. And it also worked out and it managed to save our guys. So we're on 31. I think we're just going to take the damage here, as we don't want any of our guys to die. I suppose we could have traded our Kitchen Finks off with something. Maybe even a good idea, but as we had enough life, I decided to just stick with it. Also, I can resto my Kitchen Finks if I don't draw another land. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to resto my Finks. I suppose I could have just roots actually and made sure I had 5 mana next turn. Maybe that was a better play. But yeah, arguable I suppose. Either way. But this way we managed to keep a few. Well, I mean. Well, actually, yeah. If we're on less than 2, we can actually. If we're on more than 2, rather. Sorry. We could actually pod our Restoration Angel into a Kiki-Jiki and win that way. So yeah, that doesn't seem like a bad idea. To run out the Restoration Angel there, and keeps us on a reasonably healthy life total. Fun drops a Kessig Wolf Run, which is not great, but I'm fairly sure I can live this actually. If with these blocks, which is why I make the blocks. Thinking live here, but not with a lot of life left. But obviously, as long as one of these restos lives, if we draw a land, we win. So, we'll try and preserve ourselves. Jun charms up his Deadshot Minotaur to seems like a strange play. I'm not quite sure why he did that. If he actually waited for the damage to happen and then Jun charmed dealt 2 damage to everything, I think that would have been a better play for him. Maybe I'm missing something. Not sure, but yeah, I don't think that was the best play that he could have made with the cards he had. So we get our Finks back, and he plays a Fulminator Mage. Fortunately, he doesn't blow up one of our lands because that would actually put us in a terrible position, and probably just dead. As next turn he can probably attack us for enough, but fortunately we draw a land and Kiki-Jiki. So that's the win there. I think our opponent made a few mistakes and probably could have played in a way that was better, and didn't have him lose to Kiki-Jiki plus Restoration Angel, but fortunately for us he didn't, and managed to win that one. So on to game 3. Okay, so this is our opener. Oh, it doesn't have white in it, any white sources in it, to get rid of an Ethersworn Canonist hand. This is the hate card we really want in this matchup, and I think I'm just going to take a risk on drawing a white source or a fetch or something, or a bop or Noble Hierarch. We've got quite a lot of white sources, so just going to run with this. Hunt wheels off a Street Wraith, fetches, and then cycles a Carabid. So a pretty good start for him for getting things into the yard. We draw Razorverge Thicket, which is really nice. I'm going to keep it in hand though, because you might have some way of destroying non-basics, so I'd much rather play out the mountain. So play out the Razorverge Hat now, and Canonist. He decides to fetch for some reason, maybe just to make me think that he's got something. As it turns out, he doesn't really have a whole lot going on. He doesn't actually even have a 3rd land drop, so that's pretty good for us. I'm going to tap for 2 here, come down to 12, and play Kitchen Finks, going up to 20, and that's it. So yeah, obviously our opponent didn't have any way to deal with Canonist. Perhaps a slightly early concession, unless he actually took all his removal out of his deck, which would be a little bit stupid, not going to lie. But yeah, don't really know what was in his hand, but he obviously saw the writing on the wall and decided to concede. And I think we probably would have wrapped it up fairly soon afterwards. Got Restoration Angel and potentially Resto into Kiki-Jiki if we can draw another red source, which would definitely wrap up the game, potentially in a couple of turns. So yeah, probably the right thing to do to concede, so potentially a little bit early. And yeah, that was the match.